background and about Capturely, of course, as well.
Yeah, okay, of course.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Great. I shouldn't start it in the end, so we will start it in the beginning.
Okay, so who we are? We are a team of 10 people who are working on Capturely. And Capturely is an online analytics tool which collects qualitative and quantitative data in one place. And here you can see some picture of our amazing team, some from the marketing team and some from the dev team. And you know, Capturely tracks everything what your visitors do on your website from the very first step to the last one.
Mm-hmm. And as serial entrepreneurs, well, in the past few years, we have been working with multiple e-commerce sites and online businesses. And as soon as we saw a metric, we already knew what happened on the website. But actually, we were always eager to find out why it's happened and what motivates the user to complete the checkout process. And actually, that was the reason why we started to build Capturely. And as soon as we looked around the market, it just turned out that we are not the only company with this problem. The average cart abandonment rate is still over 75%, and 20% of the first-time customers never return to a given website. So there are plenty of places for further development in website optimization. And just let's imagine if you can just simply increase your conversion on retention with a few percent, that can already mean thousands of dollars in revenue, which is huge. But what's the problem with the current solutions on the market? When we looked around, it just turned out that most of the current solutions are focusing on an enterprise level, and they focus on data instead of giving useful insights for the businesses. And it's an issue for many SMEs because SMEs don't have unlimited resources, and it's just hard to understand all the data you collect and gain the real good business insights, which will help you to optimize your website and increase your sales.
So,
all right.
What is our solution? As we already mentioned, we created a full stack analytics platform. We collect all the quantitative data, the most important KPIs, such as the number of the session, the number of the page views, the bounce rate, or the conversion rate of a given page. And we collect qualitative behavioral data, for example, clicks, actions, and scrolls. And we collect them in one place. So it's easy because you don't only know your number, but your numbers, but you will get the answer why the customer do on your website and why they do that. And you can also tag your visitors automatically, and you can collect custom events. So easy, because with Capturely, it's easy. It's an easy to use tool. And what Capturely is good for, you can reduce the cart abandonment rate, because in many cases, online shops suffer from a high cart abandonment rate. These shops lose their visitors on the checkout page because user put a product into their cart, but there are no sales. They are leaving without buying anything. So it's a huge problem. And with Capturely, you can reveal the pain point of your checkout page. And it is also good for usability testing. You all know that user interviews in person can be really time-consuming and expensive. But with Capturely, you can turn your visitors into testers in seconds, because you know it's like sitting behind your customer and inspecting how they behave and what they are looking for. And it's also good for customer support and bug fixing. For example, when a user reports a bug on your website, it's so easy to check what was the problem, what the exact user saw on your website. So you can make easier the life of your customer support and find the problem. And I think you know that bug fixing can be a never-ending fight. So with Capturely, you can easily optimize the process and make it more easier. And this Capturely is also good for marketing campaign validation, because when you run a marketing campaign, your visitors can come from different countries, from different cultures, and they can act differently on your site, on your website. And with Capturely, you can optimize your landing page, and you can also determine what is the best campaign, what performs the best. And let's check how the magic happens. But I think I clicked on the button.
It's okay. So please prepare it all. I see some more questions are coming. I'm noting them all. Everybody, we are talking about Capturely, how you can use it in your business. So please keep the questions coming, and I'm noting everything. And in the end of the webinar, we'll be answering it all as usual. So please don't feel afraid to ask your questions. We are here to answer them.
Yeah, and even if you just watch the playback, feel free to leave your questions in the comment sections, because
Absolutely.
we're active in the group. So if you have any questions in the future, please feel free to ask them there or write us an email, and we are more than happy to reply them for you.
Yes.
Our email address, hello@capturely.com. So
yeah, it's easy to remember.
Yeah. Okay, so what you see here. This is basically the welcome screen of your first onboarding experience. You see this because the tracking code is missing from your site. Yeah, but you can easily add this little tracking code right before the closing body tag into your HTML code. Or if you don't have any access to your website code, you only have to do just click on that button and send it to your developer. And we are also compatible with Google Tag Manager. So it's easy to put this little code snippet as a custom HTML code in Google Tag Manager. Yeah, and we also have integrations and plugins for the most popular web shop engines, such as Magento, Shopify, or WooCommerce. And if you would like to know more about inserting the code, just click on that bring me to the documentation button, and you will find all the information regardless inserting the code. Yeah.
And what will happen after you insert the code and you just and we already tracked the first visitor? You will arrive. I will just change the website here in the bottom, in the top, sorry, and you will just arrive to the main dashboard of Capturely, where we show you all the main informations regarding to your website, like the number of sessions in a given time period, the average session length, the bounce rate, or the average generation time of your website. But here you will also find information about the main sources where your traffic from, or the main pages where your traffic is landing. But of course, you can also dig into the details. And for example, in the visitor submenu, you can find a lot of information, useful insights about the sources, the traffic sources of your visitors, and what devices, what softwares they use, and which country they come from. For example, let's check the devices submenu. In the devices menu, you will find information about the main devices your visitors use, or the main screen sizes your visitors use. And these submenus can be really useful for your developers or for your tech support team when you have, for example, a bug on Mac traffic, so from MacBook, from Apple computers. Then you can just search for these, and Capturely will show you how many traffic you have. So you can also determine the importance of your problem by checking this information. However, it's more common to have some kind of browser-related issue or a browser-related problem. So we Capturely also list you the main OS versions your visitors come from and the main browsers your visitors come from. And here you can also apply some filters. And for example, I can just easily check how many visitors I had from, for example, Chrome browsers on mobile and on desktop as well.
Mm-hmm.
And if we move on, we arrive to the acquisition menu. When in the acquisition menu, you will find information about what happened on your website and how your visitors behaved on your website. So these metrics are related to your website usage, while the visitors menu is related to the traffic sources and where your visitors come from. In the acquisition menu, you will find which pages were visited on your website, for example. And if you click on the menu, we will see all the main pages which was visited in Capturely. As you can see in the case of this test data, it was 51 websites. And you can see all the related metrics as well here, like how many sessions were, how many page views were, what was the average time or the bounce rate of a given page which was visited by your visitors. And we can also list you, of course, the landing pages where your visitors arrive, and you can see how they relate to the quantity metrics. And just see, for example, that users who already log in, because these are logged in pages, these two, they spend much more time, of course, on your website than those who just arrived to your main landing page or arrived to your blog. And from all of this information, you can determine where you need to, or it's a start to determine where you need to focus. And for example, if the average session duration in your blog is not the desired, then you can work on it and make, for example, better articles or more interesting articles for your customers, or just make different changes on the blog to keep your readers for a longer time. And here in the acquisition summary, you will also find information about the downloads you had on your website, what were the main outlinks, but which is really important, here we also list you all the events you collect. In Capturely, as Gabriela previously mentioned, you can add as many custom events as you want, and we will track all of them for you. Custom events are a perfect way to track, for example, page loads or click events. So if you have a desired button that you want to track how many times it was clicked, then you can add an on-click event to it, and Capturely will track it. It's pretty, if you set up any events in Google Analytics, then Capturely is very similar to that process. You just need to add this little JavaScript code snippet to your button, and it will send to Capturely how many times it was clicked. And you can also see how many sessions were when it was clicked, and how many visitors clicked the given button or made an action on your website. From these events and visited URLs, you can also set the main KPIs in the goals. And and in the manage goals section, you can also set up goals. As you can see here, we just have a few test goals here, but you can set up, for example, by action, and here, or by URL, and these will be tracked as well.
Let me stop you right here for a while. So let's talk about specific use cases, because right now we're talking about features. So if we are checking goals right now, so let's talk, for example, about e-commerce store. What goals should I, as an e-commerce store owner, set up in Capturely? Like when I buy a deal, what should be the first thing when I have an e-commerce store in Capturely?
Okay, so if you have an e-commerce store, the first what you should do is to track the checkout button, where the customers just complete the checkout process. So you need to find a way to track the checkout process. There are two ways of it. If you have a post-checkout page where you say, for example, thank you very much for your purchase, then you can track that URL, how many times it was visited. Or the other way is to add this on-click event to your button, to your checkout button, and it then Capturely can count you how many times it was clicked. For example, in this case, this is that event, the checkout event. So that's the first what you should do as an e-commerce site. But of course, after this main step or main KPI is tracked, you can dig deeper and, for example, also track how many product pages were tracked. That's also really necessary to see a user how many product pages visited.
Okay.
Or how many times a product was added to a cart. How many people on your website started the checkout process. So, and from this information, you can set up your conversion funnel, and we will show this as well later on.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so let's continue with the qualitative analytics, starting with heat maps. The heat map enables you to track actions and visitors' engagement in a qualitative way. And unlike in other tools in Capturely, you don't have to add each URL one by one. We will generate you a heat map automatically for each visited website web page you have. And what you see here, so in the second column, you see the pages by URL, and you can see here the number of the visits and the number of the clicks in a given time period. And you can change the time period. I don't make a huge change, but check the first heat map. We have 3 different kinds of heat map. The click heat maps is the first. And what you see here, so it shows you the exact click positions and the intensity of the click positions. It gives you an accurate data about the page layout and about the usage of the page. And what does the color mean? So the red means lots of clicks. So the more click you have, the hotter is it. With click heat maps, you can reveal what is the most popular section of your website, of the given page, and you can find also the dead areas. And for example, if you have an icon which is not clickable on your web page, but you see on the click heat map there is lots of click on that icon, you have to take into consideration to make it clickable, because the click heat map show that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's continue with the scroll heat map. Scroll heat map shows you how far the visitors scroll down on a given page and what percentage of them scroll down to visit a given section of that given page. And with scroll heat map, it's easy to make the decision where you should put your main CTA. And last but not least, we have the segment heat map. Okay, this is basically a click heat map, but instead of showing you the intensity of the clicks, it shows you clicks by sources or by different parameters. Here you can see different filtering options. Maybe you are interested in the traffic that comes from mobile, so just click on that drop-down menu and choose the device. Here you can uncheck the all and just click on the mobile. So here you see all the traffic that came from mobile and all the taps. And it's important to know that we also track taps that came from mobile, so they count as click. And if we go back to the pages, here we have all the filtering options: the device type, visitor type, referral, operating system, and for browsers.
Yes, and while heat maps show you an aggregated view about the usage of your website in a given time period, then session recordings can show you how an exact visitor behaves on your website, and you can just check the playback of how a visitor completed the purchase, or what was the exact journey of your customers. So here I will just check a domain registration process, and it will show how the visitor search for the domain what they wanted to buy in this on this web hosting website, and what was the whole process, what they looked for. As you can see, they will make changes in the domain because they are not satisfied with the given results, and all of this information will be lost if you just use events and if you just use metrics on your website. So this is where you find out how exactly they behave, where they move their mouse, and how they read, for example, your website. Because it's interesting, but people usually use and move their mouse while they read your website. So you can also find out by the mouse movement how they exactly read your website and what is the reading pattern of your website, which can be also really interesting information, especially if you run, for example, a blog, or if you have a feature page where you have a lot of text, because by knowing the exact reading pattern of your customers, you will find out where you should put your CTAs. And actually it's the same in the case of Heatmaps. So in the Heatmaps, you will also see clicks where your visitors read your web page, and these will also give you insights about the reading pattern of your visitors. In Capturely, if you, for example, if you just found a bug on a session recording, you can add manually tag to the recording, and let's say I will add tag and I will add Peter, and later on Peter can search for bugs, and they will see which issues, which recordings they should see, and fix the given problem they had on the website. I will just add the tag and it will appear here. I will also show you in a few seconds how you can filter for this. And of course, you can also make it faster, the session replay process. And here you can also see the main browser and devices information about the session recording you had on your website. And here you also have a copy link button, which can be a really useful tool especially for agencies, because by this way you can share a given session recording, a given session replay with your partners, or with your clients, or with a teammate. And if they have access to your account, then they can just check back the video and see what you wanted to show them on the website.
Perfect.
And actually, oh, sorry, I just moved back one more pages. So, and actually, for example, just one of our clients sent us last week that the session replay was a really great tool, because they had a bug on their website for 4 weeks and they couldn't find out how it happened. And they just track the visitor by their email address, so they know when they was logged in, and by this way they could find out why the bug happened on their website. So for this purpose, Capture is also great. And as you can see here, and as I mentioned, you can also track your logins, for example, and you can set up this tracking process, and this tag will be added to your session replays, and you can filter for it, so you can know which visitor was on your website when, and you can also replay their journey, their website usages as well. And here in the filters in the session recordings, you have plenty of filtering options, like the pages which were visited, and the country, the duration of the visit, what was the IP address, and here you can also search for events, and these are the tags that I mentioned. So previously I added bug, and here if I will just filter for the bug tag, it will show me all the recordings. Of course, in my case, I will have only one. Okay.
I love the filtering options. I mean, this is quite difficult to filter all in Google Analytics.
Yeah. Yes, usually it is, but it's necessary when you have a lot of recordings, a lot of information on your website. Yeah, and sorry, I just use a trackpad and I'm not familiar with it yet. So, and now I have the recording and where I added the name of Peter, so Peter can easily find it. And if I had found the bug on the session recordings, then Peter can solve this issue.
Akos, how fast is this recording made? So, for example, I'm a visitor. I come to website. How fast this recording will appear in Capture?
You will see it in seconds, but of course, the complete visit will be available only after the visitor left your website. So until then, you will see an in progress here, an in progress sign, and it will tell you that that visit is already in progress. So it's not completed. It's not a completed visit of your website, but it will appear in seconds, and you can see already all the data which was sent to Capturely as soon as they arrive to our server. So it's pretty fast.
Perfect. Thank you.
And just two more things what I wanted to show you regarding to session replays. You can also make a session replay favorite by this little star in the very beginning, or you can also hide the recording by this little icon if you don't need it anymore, because, for example, you have all the insights from the session replay, and you can just simply click on this little button and it will disappear from your list. But of course, it won't be deleted. So from the filtering later on, you can also see the hidden videos by filtering for them.
We are receiving quite a lot of questions, but this one from Ganesh is really relevant to what we are talking about right now. Okay. And Ganesh is asking, what is considered as a session according to Capturely?
Okay, so when somebody arrives to your website, Capturely start to track that visitor, and our session length is 30 minutes. So this is a session length. And for example, if they leave the website and they come back later on, for example, in 2 hours or something, then they start a new session and it will count as a new session. However, if they are on your website and they are active for 2 hours, for example, it will be one session, because the session restarts when they make an action, for example, a click, a page load, or something on your website. So it can a complete session can start from a few seconds basically, and it can last for hours if the user is still active on your website.
Okay.
Okay, so if there is no another question.
We have a lot of questions, but I'm noting them all into presentation and we'll be answering them after we will showcase the product fully.
Okay, so let's continue with the conversion funnel.
My favorite feature, I love it.
Yeah, it's really great. Each website has one or more key user journey, which can be the checkout process or the subscription. And here you can see our test funnel from our test website. Each column represents a step in our funnel. So as you can see, this is a checkout process. Here you can see the first step, which measure the number of the visitors who landed our web hosting landing page. And after that comes, this is basically an event that we set up for the choose, the choose button, where you can choose the basic plan from this web hosting plan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the last step is the checkout process, so the purchase. Yeah, and here you can see the drop-off. In the conversion funnel, it's so great that you can see in the funnel where the users drop off and why they drop off. But how you can create a new funnel, and after that I will show more exciting thing about conversion.
This is exciting as well.
So here you can, let's name this funnel, for example, test. Not too creative, but it's good. So our first step is step 1, and You can define your step by adding a URL that, for example, exactly with that URL. And after that, you can add a step 2. And you can also rename that. And for example, the event value that is exactly with the basic or just the checkout. I think it's easier to understand that. And okay, just click on the save and we will generate you a conversion funnel, but it needs more time and it needs data. So let's go back to the...
Yeah, it was the web hosting.
The web hosting?
Yeah.
Okay, the web hosting. And so I told you that you can understand why your visitors drop off. Okay, just click on that column and you will see all the session replays regardless of that step. So you can just check this session replays and you can find out what was the problem, why did drop off of your funnel. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this can be a really good way to find out more information about your conversion funnel and also find out why, for example, why you have a churn at a given point, and it can pretty easily highlight for you why a user left your website at a given point. For example, they couldn't find the right shipping information, or they didn't find your website trustful enough. And all of these little reasons can be end with a website bounce. However, if you just rely on metrics, you will never find this information.
Absolutely.
And
we just received a really cool comment from Somia. I wanna read it before we will continue.
Okay.
Somia says that it's really cool and addictive.
Yes, it is. It is. We are checking our conversion funnels in every hour, so be careful with it. Be careful with it because it can be really addictive.
It's amazing and addictive, Somia says.
And
thanks a lot.
Of course, if you have more than one website, you can add them to Capturely by just clicking this button here, or you can do it from the settings. So in the settings, you will also have this add new website button. And if you have more than one website, then you can just simply add your websites to Capturely. And I mentioned and here in the website settings, you can also name your project, change the URL, change the time zone, or just add excluded IP addresses. That means if you don't want to track your office IP address, for example, so you don't want to see in the recordings your own visits, then you can add the IP address here and it will be excluded from your traffic. And I mentioned you that you can set up to automatically track, for example, email addresses, for example, login email addresses, and you can do it in the website settings as well. It's important to know that Capturely doesn't track any input fields by default because of privacy reasons, and this is what default masking means. But you can turn it off if you would like to, and you can just customize what you want to mask on your recordings and what you don't want to mask on your recordings. And if you turn out this default setting, you can also set up the custom tracking, what I mentioned to you. And for example, if on my login page, the login form name is login form username, then I can just simply add it to Capturely, and the email address of the login users will be tracked, and it will be added to session replays. So you can also see, if you set this up, you will be able to see which user was logged to your website. And in the rule settings, after you can set up how should the remaining recordings distributed among the websites you have, and for one website as well in a given time period. And we have three options. We have the default. If you choose the default, then your remaining recordings will be distributed evenly. If you choose record everything, then we will record all of your visits. And you can set up a limit. So for example, if you run a new campaign and you want to know how the first 1,000 visitors behave from that campaign, then you can just set up this record everything, add 1,000, and after the 1,000 is filled and recorded, then we will just change back your settings to the default setting. And of course, it can be really useful for agencies that you can also set to don't record anything. And that just means we won't record the behavioral data of a given website. And it's perfect when, for example, you don't need some information from a client for 2 months, then you can just choose the don't record, and the given website won't use your remaining recordings in that given time period.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing, no, I don't want to save the changes. And one more thing, you can also set up shared users, and that means you can share the data of a given website with your clients or with your teammates, and but they won't have access to the settings of the website, so they can change the billing settings. They can change, of course, in the case of the lifetime plan, it won't be necessary, but they can change, for example, the rule settings of the given website, or they can change the masking settings, but they will be able to see all the data related to a given website. And you can just simply do it by choosing the website from this dropdown and add the email address you want to share the website data with, and they will appear here. And for example, in our case, with these two email addresses, this example.com is shared. And one more thing about setting up Capturely, what I wanted to show you, I will just go to our main page, and we talked about custom events, but in some cases, adding custom events can be tricky. In Capturely, in the help page, you can find how you should add this little code snippet to your buttons or to your page loads. So that's the only thing you need to add. And if you have a developer, or you have some developer skills, then it's a pretty easy way to just add custom events, and you just need to add this small snippet to your website. And we collect 3 parameters from the events: is the label, the action, and the value. And of course, we usually use the label to name the given event, use the action to know what actions happened, for example, page load or click, and in the value you can add numbers like how valuable was the given event for yourself. Mm-hmm. But you can use you can have your own methodology how you use your events. And thank you very much for having this demo with us, and we are looking forward to the questions. And if you want to know about any of our features more, then we are more than happy to tell you about them.
Exciting. Thanks a lot for the presentation as well. I was paying attention to all the questions that were coming, and it was a lot of them. We have around 35 questions or 40 questions so far. So let me share my screen really quickly. Please let me know if you can see it in 3, 2, 1. Now, do you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Great.
Perfect. So yeah, let's jump into the Q&A. Capturely lifetime deal is finally live. We postponed actually from 21st, I believe, to 31st. So we are live finally. This is the link where you can grab it. And before we'll jump into it, here are some testimonials. Capturely is a delightful analytics bundle for marketers and UX designers. The trial convinced me instantly. The Heatmaps helped me to get rid of that button in our web shop, and so on. Now, let's talk about the plans. So there are 5 plans available. First is $49. Then it's $98, $147, $196, $245. Now, these plans differ mainly in how many recorded sessions you can have and how many websites you can have. So for the first plan, you can have 20,000 recorded sessions. Now, I want to ask you, Akos, what will happen after I will go across this, so go over this limit? Will you start deleting the last ones, or?
Yeah, it's important to know that that these recorded sessions is not for a lifetime, but for a month. So if you just used all of your recordings in a given month, then we will refill it next month, and you will have 20K recordings again. So that's all. If you just fulfill it and you don't have any other recordings in a given month, then we just stop the recordings. However, all the other data, I mean the metrics, will be still tracked. So these recorded sessions is only, so it's only matters in the case of behavioral analytics and tracking, but the normal metrics, like how many sessions you had, it will be still tracked.
Perfect. And thanks a lot. Now, guys, you can see it differs only in these two things. And of course, how many coupons, right? So the pricing and the plans are pretty straightforward. And if some of the plans wouldn't be for you, we actually offer add-ons as well. So 5 extra websites can be added to any package. So if you need more websites, you can buy for $49 this add-on. All right. So make sure that you will check it. It's on this link. Now let's jump into the Q&A. So first, about some terminology. What is recorded session? So in short, can you please explain what exactly is recorded session?
Yeah, recorded session is a website visit which is tracked and which is recorded basically. So it's a complete session from the very start your visitor enters the website until they leave the website.
Perfect. What is advanced masking?
Okay, in advanced masking, you can set up, for example, different fields you don't want to track in Capturely. Let's say you have a page where you collect addresses from your visitors or something like that. And if you use custom masking, then you can just tell Capturely that please don't track this information because I count it as private privacy. Yeah.
So, for example, credit card details and so on.
Credit card details and passwords are never tracked by Capturely, so you can't set up Capturely to track this information because of privacy reasons.
Of course. Okay. What is email tagging?
For example, when you know the visitors who report the bug and he or she was logged in to the software or, for example, the web shop, you know the visitors and you can check the session replay. And as Akos mentioned, you can create a tag, a session tag, input field, and you can there give the email. So
yes. So in action, it would look like that I will check my session recordings and then I can, for example, filter it by email, right?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. But of course, I need to know before the customer, right? Before who is this customer? It doesn't magically track his email or something.
Yeah, but for example, let's have an example which can be really useful. In the case of a user, yes, but if you don't use this email tagging for emails, but you use it for search fields, and you run an e-commerce store, then you can add this tagging for the search field as well. And it will add the tag of the search product to session replay. So you can see that visitor, for example, search for smartphones or search for smartphone cases. And this tag will appear next to the session replay. And you can also filter for this. And it can be also useful information during the optimization process.
All right, next question. I have Capturely from Anadol Ltd. Can I buy again from PitchGround and stack it to my existing account? Thanks.
Yes, you can buy it, but you can't buy it with your existing account because the tool deal is different. But of course, you can buy it again. Yes, of course, and
all right,
buy it for other websites or anything like that.
By the way, I see notification popping up that people are buying Capturely, which is amazing. So guys, thanks a lot that you are believing the Capturely.
And they don't even know the website where they should add the coupon code. So
Yeah, there were some of the questions about it as well. All right, let's move on. Will it slow my website down?
No, it won't. We use asynchronous code, which means it won't slow down your website. It downloads parallel with your website, so it won't.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the short question is no.
No, yes.
Yeah.
Will you track every visitor on my website?
If you set up in the rule settings, as I show you, then yes, we will. By default, we use we distribute your recordings evenly in a given month in order to have a complete sample from all the months. So from all the period when it lasts or while it lasts. But you can set it up to track every visitor, and in that way, we will track every visitor on your website.
All right. Is there any demo to try it first?
We have a free trial by default and a free plan as well. So I think that's the best way to try it out on your own website.
Okay. How are you different than Hotjar?
We collect more information. So we also collect all the metrics you have on your website and not just the behavioral analytics. And yeah, that's the main difference between Hotjar and us. So we can give you a more complete picture by providing you both and collecting you both the qualitative and quantitative information.
Yes. If you place code in a mobile app, will it track visitors there as well?
No, unfortunately no, but when you have a responsive website, as I mentioned, we count a tap as a click, so you can track these steps, but we are not compatible for mobile app.
Yeah.
All right. Is this the first SaaS the founders have made? How big is the team?
We have a team of 9 at this moment, and we are growing. And but this is not the first SaaS what we had. We also had a web hosting company, and we have a real estate company. So it's not the first company we built.
Perfect. I actually have a phone here ready in front of me, and I see all the questions that are coming. So after we'll finish this batch of questions, I will just update the slides, and you will show meanwhile a little bit more about Capture. Okay?
Okay, great.
All right, another question. Do you sample data like Hotjar does sometimes, or is it data from 100% of visits?
We only show you data from the visits. Regarding to the metrics, for the quantitative part, for the metrics, we track every visitor, but for the behavioral analytics, we only sampling by default, as I mentioned before, we distribute the recordings evenly, but you can set up to track every visitor on your website. So it's basically it's in your hand how you want to track. And one more thing which is important, that we start to track both the session recordings and both the heat maps automatically for every page on your website. So you don't have to set up samples, or you don't have to add your pages one by one to heat maps.
That's perfect. All right. Does it capture IP?
Yes. But if you have traffic from the European Union, we don't track the last part of the IP addresses because of the GDPR. But yes, we also track IP address.
Okay. I'm curious how it compares to Full Story and Hotjar.
As I mentioned you before, we also collect the qualitative part, so we can give you a more complete picture.
I see. So Full Story and Hotjar will give you just the qualitative recordings and so on, but you will give the numbers as well.
Yes, exactly.
And percentages, okay, for our left part of the brain as well. All right, works with Shopify.
Yes, of course.
And we have plugins for Shopify.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. How about GDPR?
As I mentioned,
I must say that this might be your favorite question, right?
Okay. Actually, I already tried to cover this question because it comes up a lot of times. And as I mentioned, by default, we don't track any input fields. So it's not a matter regarding to GDPR because we are absolutely compatible with it. And in addition, in addition to GDPR, regarding to the input fields, and there is also the IP address question. And as I mentioned before, for citizens from the European Union, we don't rank the last part of the IP addresses.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So we are compatible with it, so feel free to use it.
Does Capture slow down loading speed of my website? We actually answered this one, right? It doesn't?
Yes, it doesn't.
Does this app work natively with Laravel and Code Igniter frameworks? How about template engines like TWIG, for example, PHP, BB? Thanks.
Okay, so for example, with Laravel, we are absolutely compatible, and we are compatible with most of the web technologies. But of course, if you meanwhile just run into any issue, just write to us, and we are more than happy to go into the details.
All right, Steven. So if you have more questions about this, so please reach out to Akos. Actually, plan 5 coupon, 150K per month. It means 150K for each of 5 websites, or divided by the 5 websites.
Okay, so it's per month, of course, it's per month, but it's divided by the 5 websites. So it's not for each website, but it's divided, yes.
Yes, this. All right. Yes, we answered this one. Long question, but let's answer it. About Heatmaps, I get a lot of traffic from paid, which adds a random slug to the URL. Capturely detects that as a different landing page, which gives you lots of heat maps with one or few clicks. So instead of seeing a heat map of the home page, I have 400 heat maps of the same page. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's something what we are working on to basically just skip these parameters in the case of heat maps and aggregate so just cut off these parameters what you have from these paid campaigns and show you all the clicks on one page. So it's on our backlog, and we are working on it to solve this issue.
Perfect. Can you give us a time frame? When do you think that the update will be released?
I think this update this will be released in 1 or 2 months at worst, but I think in less. So I think in November we will fix this.
Perfect. What the hell? It's here for like 6th time. I inserted the tracking code into my landing software into head section. Pingdom test shows that the script loads 70 milliseconds, which is a lot. Is this normal?
I think 70 milliseconds is still okay. It can be less, of course, but the milliseconds and how fast the download is, it really depends on what network you use. You are on Wi-Fi, you are in a coffee shop, or you are at home and you have a LAN cable to your computer. So it depends on a lot of cases. But we measured it a lot of times, and we can say that we are at the same level with Hotjar, for example. So it's not the case for your website or for your SEO.
Perfect. Okay. How do we set up the recording, or are they on by default?
They are on by default. So just highlight it by default.
Okay. Okay, doesn't work like that. Question. Some of my sites use music or movie playlists / players. If a button evokes a pop-up form with a player and other links, can Capturely track clicks or do a heat map on that pop-up, on the pop-up?
Okay, so if you have, for example, an inserted video from YouTube or something, of course we can't reach the video because it's on another website where the tracking code is not inserted. But we will basically show you little window where the video would be, and we will show the clicks on the video, but we can't show you the exact video and how it was played on your website.
It's not actually the full answer. The question is if there is a pop-up on the website, right? So for example, I will scroll to...
Pop-ups will be shown in the recordings, yes.
Okay, and Heatmaps as well on the pop-ups.
Yes.
So pretty much everything will be shown, like if it's normal website. Okay.
Yes.
Just bought it. How to apply the code? LOL.
Okay, so we have a URL for this purpose. If you just bought the coupon on the PitchGround website, you can go to capturely.com/PitchGroundLtd, and you can just simply you will find a landing page there where all the plans are listed, and there you should click on the activate button, the subscribe and activate coupons button. And by clicking on that button, you will be in our sign up process. Here you need to add your account information, like your email address, password, and here you can also add the coupons you bought. You can add all of your coupons in the same time. So it's not, you don't need to add them one by one, but it's not a problem if you just forget to add one coupon, or you, for example, want to buy an add-on later on, because in the settings, when you enter to Capturely, you can also add additional coupons. So it's not a problem if you just want to buy one coupon at the beginning. The deal will last for 3 weeks. So meanwhile, you can buy additional coupons for Capturely. And one more thing, that in the second step, you need to add the first website, what you want to track, but it can be changed later on. So it can be just, if you don't have the URL of your website at this moment or something, you can just add example.com and move on.
Okay, cool. Do you offer a bigger plan for agencies that want to use Capturely for clients? 5 websites are really too few.
Okay, that's why we have the add-on. So add-on coupons are basically for agencies, first of all. And the add-on is $49 only, and it can add 5 additional websites for a lifetime to your plan. So I think it's a great deal to have if you are an agency.
Perfect. Yeah, this is actually. Okay, so it's a basically use case. Add a website, and part of adding is setting my website's time zone. Yeah, this is the time zone issue. I set it to Central US and then save it. When I go to dashboard and come back to the time zone, goes back to GMT for this website. I need the time zone ESP for auditing the recordings.
Okay, so by default, you can set the time zone in the website settings, but if you have any problem with setting the time zone, just please feel free to reach us out in email or in Messenger or somewhere, and we will look into this technical issue if you have anything like this.
What is the email?
Okay, it's hello@capturely.com.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it's basically a bug that people.
Yeah. You will run into, and we are really sorry for the inconvenience. We will fix it for you.
Really cool. Okay. Hi, I have added the code, but it still shows my profile is still free.
I think by free you mean the code is not added.
Yeah, that he added the code.
Okay, sorry, you can be a user who just registered to free. Okay. So first, if you already have if you want to register PitchGround lifetime deal, you need to create a new profile, because those profiles are handled separately. So if you have an existing profile, you can't add the PitchGround coupon to the website. So, but if you have, for example, if you use Capturely for months and you have a lot of data there, then write us an email and we will try to find a solution for you. All
right. I had used Capturely in trial period. There it is showing email address of the visitor. My question is that how it is find the visitor emails. My site doesn't have any email submit option there.
okay, then you should have something, because otherwise we can't track it. So we can only track it by if some of your users add it on your website. We can find it out otherwise what was the email of a given user.
All right, so these are the questions.
Maybe you don't have anything like that, but if you have, for example, a newsletter subscription and it's set to track, then we can track that as well. So it doesn't have it don't have to be a register form or a login page. It can be also a newsletter subscription or something like that that can be tracked as well. So this can be the reason.
All right, so these are the questions. Please, Akos, I will ask you to start sharing your screen, and I will go through all the new questions which came in while we were talking. Okay.
Okay. Now I can. Okay, I'm here.
Perfect. Then show something tasty.
Shall I log in, or do we have any questions?
I'm just adding all the questions right now. Maybe you can.
Okay. I just logged in to have some data here. Okay.
Or maybe you can show how people can apply the code or something.
Okay, great idea. So here I will just log out, and as I mentioned we have this PitchGround lifetime deal, and here you have the page, and here in the page you can just here you will find all the main information regarding to Capture and regarding to the deal. So here you will also check the plans and what will it add actually to your website. But if you just move up and just click on the subscribe and activate coupons, then you can add the coupons of your coupons to Capturely, and you can add it by commas. You can add the line break and add each coupon to one line, so it doesn't matter. We will handle it, and you can just click on the I add and accept, of course, the privacy policy next, and then you need to add the website. No, I don't have any coupons, so that's why I can show you the upcoming step. But then, as I mentioned, you can add an example.com as well if you don't have a website at this moment, and after that you enter to Capturely.
We have a request that maybe you could use you could show some use cases of Capturely if you can do it. And another thing is about the question when it was still showing the free account after adding the coupon. The user Alex says that if he created a new account, it says that a coupon is added already. So what would you say now that he should do?
The coupon is already added. Okay, Alex, please send us your profile and we will look into this issue. So that's because we should. So first we need to check it where you added the coupon code exactly, and after that we can check it what was the problem you ran into.
Mm-hmm. All right, so can you please show a little bit more about Capture? I'm still putting together all the questions and maybe some use cases as well.
Okay. So I will just log in.
Of course.
Okay, so let's start with the metrics. Let's say you had, for example, let's start with you have a bug, and this bug is, for example, from a Chrome browser. Then you can just go for the recordings, and here you can also filter for the browser as well. So, for example, just a new version of Chrome or Firefox was just published. Many of the users, of course, installed it, and it caused some problem because one of your code, so a part of your code is not compatible with it yet. It has a new function, and you can just simply filter for those customers or those visitors who use that browser, and you can check how and when the problem exactly happened. No, we don't have any problems, but here are all the recordings, and you can check them, you can replay them, and you can find out what caused the problem on your website. Another typical issue can be if you have a conversion funnel, you have a checkout process, and you just find out that there is a churn on one of your page. In the case of our website, let's say in your case, if you have an online store, it should be something an URL which contains the checkout, for example. But in our case, let's say it's the web hosting page, and we just add webstar here, and we apply the filters, and I can see all the recordings where that page was visited, and then I can check the recordings and find out why is the given churn happen on my website and what caused the given problem. And after that, of course, I can work on a solution.
Yeah, for example, the reason could be adding the credit card information, and some people don't like that. So you can find this problem and you can handle it.
Yeah, exactly. For example, let's see the heat maps. In the heat maps, I will say that I would like to have information from this time period. And I will just check the main page. And basically, I just added a 30 days long time period. And here, for example, in this time period, sorry, okay, it was just some code, but I can see that how many users use the search bar, and I see that that time period in the test data there were less logins on my page, and I can see that how many of the visitors clicked each menu, for example, and from all of this information I can find out how should I change the pattern, for example, for my website, and where should I add the CTAs. As you can see here, for example, in this website, in this case, this is the recommendation part in this website, in the case of this website. And recommendations are basically never seen. So they are probably because the fonts are pretty small, probably because it just looks like a wall of text. It should be, and all of this is just shown on the heat map, that on the main page, all of these recommendations are not clicked at all. They are just lost. And recommendations can be really, really important for your business, for your online business. And it's always good to have recommendations on the main part of your web page in order to let your visitors know that you can be trustful and they can trust in your business, and they will have a higher willingness to buy from you if you show them that you are trustful.
All right. So I'm ready with the questions, so I can start sharing my screen.
Okay.
Let me add, no, actually I need to add a little bit more, so please continue.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for all the questions, guys. You're amazing.
Great. We have a lot of questions to answer. Nice. You make a good job. Okay. Let's go back to the recordings. And here I will go a little bit deeper into the filters. So if you have, for example, previously in a question you mentioned that you use, for example, paid campaigns, and you use parameter, and there are parameters in the URL. For example, if these parameters are made by Google, I mean by Google URL Builder, then these are tracked by default in Capture.ly in the recordings. So for example, we had this 2019 Q3 deal. And if I just add this campaign name to the filters, then I can filter for all the recordings which came from that campaign, and I can just simply replay all the recordings which came from that source, and I can find out how that visitor, how those behave, who came from the given campaign, what they are interested in. For example, in this case, I can see that these people are interested in domain. And for example, it's a web hosting and domain registrar company. And but if I run a campaign for both of the services, and it turns out that all of my visitors are interested only in domain, and they are also pay a lot of attention on the prices because they just check the prices page, then it probably I should consider to optimize my campaign only for domain selling and domain registrations. And in that campaign, I don't have to care about web hosting services because my visitors are only interested in the domain services. So for example, by watching a few of these recordings, all of this information can be at your hand within seconds. And you can see not just if they check the domain page, which will, for example, Google Analytics tell you that, okay, I had some traffic, for example, that campaign source, and many of them visited the domain page. But I could also see that the first what they check is the prices, and they only go to the domain pages after they check the prices. So they are pretty price sensitive, and I have to focus on the prices as well. And probably I should also add the price tag to my campaign, to my AdWords campaign, to my AdSense campaign, or to any other channel what I use.
Really cool. All right, I'm ready with the questions, finally. Okay. Sorry it took so long, but we have a lot of questions. Now, Akos, how are you different than HomeCommerce?
Okay, so from HomeCommerce, we also, I have to say the same. We collect more quantitative information, and that can give you a bigger picture. And in addition, we also have the segment Heatmaps, which is an add-on in relation to many other Heatmap services.
All right, so to summarize it, more quantitative data and segment as well. Yes. Yeah, all right. Can customer change websites one Capturely has done all it can on one website?
Of course, you can change the website, but please keep it in mind, if you change website, then you can't re-edit. So you can't change, but you can, of course, change website. So if you, for example, you have a client and that client just move on, and you don't have that client anymore, then you can delete his or her data, and you can add a new client instead of them. So yes, you can change the website.
All right. So I hide one of the recording sessions. How do I bring it back?
It's in the filters. So if you just hide it, then you can go to the filters, and in the bottom of the filters you can see a drop down which says hidden recordings, and it will show you all the hidden recordings, and with the same button you can also make them visible again.
All right. So in filters, right?
Yes, in the filters you can do that.
Will it track the eye position of visitors as well?
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately, there is no technology.
That'd be so cool, though. I mean, it's not possible, but it would be so cool.
Yeah. There are services for this purpose, but you need the eye camera on the visitor and everything else. So it's pretty time and money consumable. But no, unfortunately, Capturely can't do this. But
yeah, I mean, it's really expensive to do these icon tests, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, usually big marketing agencies do this in big laboratories. So it's laboratories. So it's absolutely not an easy way. However, as I mentioned, the places where your user clicks, it usually also show you how they move the mouse and how they move their eyes. Because if they read the text, they will also click on the text in some parts, so you can see if they read the full text or they just read the part of a text. So this can be also...
Yeah, it can be a good indicator. Of course, it won't be that precise. It won't be that precise as iCam, but as Akos said, people are reading with their mouse, so they're reading Capturely lifetime deal is live now. Get it here. PitchGround will track eye position of the visitors as well. So you will see the mouse movements. Of course, it won't copy the eyes, fully, but it will give you some information as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Any 72-hour advantage for Capturely?
If you mean regarding to the deal, not. There is no advantage. However, if you should grab it as soon as you can to try it out, and then you can determine if you need any add-ons, for example, to have additional.
Absolutely. Please reduce the tracking limit and add more sites in initial plan. So I believe that's not possible, right?
Yeah, no, at this moment, at this deal is not possible. However, for I don't know how many websites you have, but only for only 49, you can buy 5 additional websites for a lifetime. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm. Does the add-on pack add additional recorded sessions?
No, it's only add additional websites. You can buy sessions by buying the basic coupons.
You mean the higher coupons, right?
Yes.
Yes. For low traffic sites, the add-on pack is great. Thanks for including that. That's not a question, but it's question-ish. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you very much.
Looking at the pricing page, 49 per coupon for one site, pretty straightforward, but 49 add-on pack offers 5 extra sites per package. Who buy 2 standard coupons at 98 when 1 standard coupon and 1 add-on will give 6 websites for the same price? Am I missing something obvious?
You won't receive additional recordings if you just buy add-ons. So add-on won't give you additional recordings. However, of course, if you have only websites with lower traffic, then of course maybe it's enough for you to buy one normal coupon and 1 add-on coupon.
All right. Future updates included in this deal. It's not mentioned in PitchGround.
Yeah, it's included.
It's included.
It's included, yes.
Right. So guys, if you want buy it, you will get all the updates in the future as well.
Yes, it's included. Yes. I think it's on our landing page. It's not. Sorry for that, but yes, they are included.
Yes, we should add it there though. Thanks a lot for mentioning it. From SingSpider, we get T-shirts for the biggest plan. What we'll get from Capturely? Pumpkins?
Pumpkins, yes, maybe pumpkins. Yeah.
Unfortunately, there are no like special deals right now going on. But I mean, you will get a great feeling that you bought on Halloween, and that's just one occasion in your lifetime to buy.
Yeah, maybe you think about the opportunity to do something.
Great suggestion, but I believe like sending pumpkins all around the world wouldn't end up.
Yes,
well.
Yeah.
Any plugin available for WordPress sites?
Yes, we have, and it's also works with WooCommerce. So if you have a WooCommerce site, you can also use the same plugin to add the tracking code to your website. All right.
It's analytic. Will track visitor city as well? If yes, I didn't see it in trial period.
Yes, it is. So if you didn't see it, that can be because of the. So if you had your visitors, for example, from Europe, then maybe sometimes the first report is just not enough to determine the city. So that could be the reason if you didn't see the city.
Mm-hmm. If I purchase the 5 coupon plan, can I change the domains that are being tracked at any time? For example, if a website is deactivated.
Yes, you can. You can.
But all the data will be lost, right?
Yes. So you can't re-add websites, but you can delete and change websites.
Okay. This is another great offer. One thing, can we download the recordings in some form to share with clients or for future reference?
No, unfortunately, you can't download it, but you can copy the link and share with this user. And you can also add that specific user as a shared customer.
Yeah. So by this way, you can also add your clients as shared users. And this means you shared all of your all of your recordings and analytics with them, so they can also see how their campaign, for example, is going on, or you can also show them the recordings what you want to.
All right. Can we remove existing? Yes, you can.
Yes.
This is the question, I believe, from Alex. Yep, it's a question from Alex. If I buy a big plan, 5 coupons, why we still have only 6 months date retention and not 12? So let's answer this one first.
Yes. Okay. So we have 6 months retention for most of our plans, and the reason is that the technology, and actually the technology of tracking websites is really resourceful. So that's the reason why we provide 6 months of the date retention.
All right. You mentioned that 150K recorded session is not for each site. If I buy 2 add-on packs, it means 150K for 15 sites, which means only 10K recorded sessions. Could you probably add to additional pack plus 20K recorded sessions?
Yes,
that might be a good suggestion, actually.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's a good suggestion. We will think about it to add this add-on during the deal.
Perfect. If I buy the coupon, 1 coupon plan plus the add-on pack now, can I upgrade to say the 3 coupon plan before the LTD ends without any issues?
Yes, you can. You can. After you register and you have your account, you can add. You can go to the settings, and there will be a lifetime coupon menu. And in that menu, you will see all of your coupons you have already added, and there you can add additional coupons.
All right. Can I? Yes, you can. And that's it. But we have a few more questions we received on Zoom, so let me just copy them here.
Okay.
So this is the question. Is Heatmaps scroll map recordings unlimited?
We use the same data for session recordings and Heatmaps. So basically, we create your Heatmaps from the tracked sessions.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have 20K session recordings in a month, and you use them all, then we will create your Heatmaps for that month from that 20K recorded sessions.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah. So let me stop sharing my screen, and I will check all the questions on the watch parties as well on Facebook. So meanwhile, please. Just show something tasty again, and I will get back again here to the question.
Okay.
Some people are saying that the instruction, the redemption details, how to apply the coupon, it's not clear. So maybe if you could elaborate on it, how to exactly apply the coupon, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, okay, no problem. So, unfortunately, I don't have the link of the PitchGround site at my hand, but after you just buy the coupons on the PitchGround site, you will find the link of this Capturely site. So it's capturely.com/PitchGround Ltd, and at that site, it's a landing page. It's for you for PitchGrounders, and here you will find all the main informations regarding the plans you can buy. And here is a subscribe and activate coupons button. This button can be found 3 times on the page. So you can run it. It's okay if you run any of these buttons. And after you just click on this button, the sign up process is started. And here you need to add the main account information, your email address, your password. And here is the place where you need to add the coupons. You can add both the normal and add-on coupons as well at the same time. And here you just need to add the coupons and or accept or terms of service and privacy policy. Click on the next, add the first website, and you are in. That's all.
Amazing. All right, I noted I noted 4 questions. One of them is really tough, and I want to see your answer.
Okay, great.
All right. So let me share my screen really quickly.
Okay.
It's like we're playing tennis with the screen.
Yeah.
We answered this one. I'm not really sure if I understand this question from Yusuf. Can you put an option? Capturely will send email, visitor country, etc. daily. Do you understand the question? Because okay.
I think I yes. So yes, you can send emails if you track for example, the login field on your website. Then that email address will be added to your session replays. So yes, you can add, and for example, the country is also tracked. So we track also the IP address, and as you could see on the session recordings page, there was also the country flag. So yes, we also add the country to the session recordings.
Amazing. This one's a tough one. Why should I use it instead of Hotjar that is free? Sorry for asking, guys. No need to be sorry.
Okay, so in Hotjar, you will receive less data, especially in the free version. So the free version is pretty limited. However, in Capturely, it will collect you all the qualitative and quantitative information if you buy even the smallest lifetime plan. And you can determine later on if you would like to buy add-ons, and because you have multiple websites in Hotjar, you need to basically create an account for each of your website, and in addition, Hotjar, you need to set up samples and, for example, heat maps for each of your page. Capture these will be also checked for you automatically.
Yeah, look, so a little bit. I will explain it like what is the main difference between qualitative and quantitative data and give you examples. So qualitative is when you are, for example, watching somebody over the shoulder, how is he or she doing something, and you are making then decisions based on that, right? So it's something that you cannot measure by numbers, right?
Yes.
Quantitative is where you can show some specific data in the numbers, right? So for example, conversion rate, how many people go from one site to another, one page to another, and so on. And the biggest difference between Capturely and Hotjar is that Hotjar will give you only the qualitative data, and there are more limitations. Capturely will give you the bigger picture than Hotjar, right? So it will give you both qualitative data, so watching over the shoulder, and it will also give you how exactly are people using the site in the percentage and number wise. So that's the biggest difference.
Yes, exactly.
How does Capturely record mobile browser?
Okay, we record mobile browser. Actually, the process is the same. So we know that, and when a visitor, for example, arrives to our website from a mobile phone and they're using a mobile version of the Chrome, for example, the phone sends to our server the screen size, the browser version, and all of this information. And from this information, we can tell you where and how the visitor used the website, what was the device they used, what was the browser they used, and of course, if a user, for example, used the mobile phone, we will use the same screen size or screen ratio when we play back the session recording for you.
All right. And last question. You mean if I got 5 now and I'll buy another 1 coupon, I will get 10 websites?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. All right, so that's it. I believe that, let me check Zoom again. No more questions. Let me check Facebook again. No, I don't see any other questions here. Hold on 1 second. All right, two more questions. I won't be sharing the screen. Will Capturely send us a daily report in email?
A report is something that we are working on. So reports will come in email reports. So this will be coming in the upcoming I think it will come this year or early next year.
Okay, Marcelo is saying, can I buy one code today, test Capturely, and buy another code if I need? Thank you guys. Brilliant tool, by the way. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, first of all. Thank you very much. Yes, you can. So until the deal run, you can buy basically as many coupons as you want. So, and you can add them later on to the same account. If you now register a PitchGround account with a PitchGround coupon, then you can add additional coupons to the same account later on.
All right. So yeah, that's it. I don't see any other questions. So let me give you a number, how many questions we had. We had 60 questions, which is amazing.
Nice, nice. Very good.
All right. So everybody, thanks a lot for joining. This was really cool. I know about Capturely quite a bit right now. So thanks a lot. This was really cool. So let me quickly share the screen once again for the last time. Guys, pitchground.com/products/Capturely. You can check Capturely here. You can test it. Basic plan starts on $49. Add-on is $49 as well. Now, these plans differ mainly in a number of recorded sessions and websites. Now, if you need more websites, you can also buy this add-on, which will add 5 extra websites to any package. And we are already considering that we will create an add-on for more recorded sessions. So stay tuned, because maybe we'll release this update. Now, there are more licenses, of course, available. First one is $49, which will give you 20K recorded sessions and 1 website. For $98, you will get 40K recorded sessions and 2 websites. 147, 60,000 recorded sessions and 3 websites. 196, 8,000 recorded sessions and 4 websites. And finally, 245, it will give you 150,000 recorded sessions and 5 websites. And once again, if you need more websites, you can still get an add-on. And all the recorded sessions will be divided between those websites. And as I said, we might consider creating new add-on for recorded sessions as well. So that's it. pitchground.com/products/Capturely. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll be releasing some updates in the next days, in the next weeks. What is going on in Capturely? What is new? What you can expect in the future, and so on. So, Akos, Gabriel, is there anything else you would like to say to PitchGrounders who are still watching?
Thank you very much for being with us during the lunch. And just as we previously mentioned to you, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach us out. We are more than happy to answer all of your questions, or you just want to start a discussion regarding to e-commerce optimization, we are also in. So, and don't forget to add your questions to the comments, even if you watch it from playback, because we are in the group, so we will answer them as well.
Yes.
All right, before we will wrap it up, 2 last quick questions. Francesco Maschetti from Italy, I believe, based on the name. Francesco, is it possible to change website, please? Yes, it is possible.
Yes,
you can change the website whenever you want, but please make sure that you don't need to use the last website because all the data will be removed and you cannot undo that, right?
Yes.
All right, and question from Alex. Sorry, have I missed an answer about difference to HamCommerce? Yes, we actually answered this one, but can you please explain it again? Akos, what is the main difference?
Yes, so in Capturely, we also collect the metrics, the numbers you have on your website. So we collect all the number of sessions, the average time users spend on your website. So all of these metrics, what you are probably familiar from Google Analytics, is captured in Capturely. And one more thing, we also have, for example, the segment Heatmaps, which can give you a different view about where your visitors clicks and how they differ by channel or by devices.
All right. So that's it. I don't see any other questions. I see some nice messages. Good webinar and Q&A from Somil. Thank you from Francesco. Thanks everybody for joining. You've been great. A lot of questions, a lot of interactions. That's what we love So stay tuned for next updates in upcoming days and weeks, and have an awesome evening, morning, or whatever time in your country is. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much again. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.